Well, hello, everyone. It is me, Jackie Wilson, and I am live again today for another video where we're going to talk about domestic and sexual violence. And so today, I'm just going to share some tips with you all that I think could probably be very beneficial, especially with the holidays coming up. So I want to share with you all in regards to just some signs of things that you can look for in order to help you to understand if you could be experiencing domestic violence with one of your loved ones and maybe you weren't sure. Maybe you kind of had some thoughts, but you really weren't sure. But maybe after today, after we talk, then maybe your suspicions will be either confirmed or it'll be like, nope, that's not what's going on. Okay. So I just kind of want to share that with you folks. So for those of you that don't know who I am Jackie Wilson, and I am actually a survivor of domestic violence. And so I've been doing these videos now for about 3 years, sharing great information, bringing awareness to what domestic and sexual violence is, being very candid and explaining to you as far as what I've gone through, and being very transparent with what I've gone through as well. And so for those of you that have watched my videos previously, then you've heard some of the bits and pieces that I've shared about my testimony. And I'm always open to do that, even throughout any of the videos that I actually put out, that I do the same thing. I may share bits and pieces about it as well. So just be on the lookout for today for me to share something with you as well. Okay. So with that being said, I want to just kind of jump right on into, let's talk about what is domestic violence. And then I'm going to go into and share with you some signs that you can look for in regards to what your loved one could actually be going through, and in terms of just some signs of something that you can kind of look for. Okay. So when we talk about domestic violence, we're actually talking about a pattern of, a pattern of abusive behaviors that one person is displaying within that relationship. And he or she, because we know men and women can be abusers and they can also be survivors. So he or she is impacting this other person's life. And the reason that they're doing this is to gain, maintain power and control over that individual in that relationship. Okay. And this can happen even if they happen to break up and that relationship is over with, but that person still will do things in order to maintain that control that they had at one point in that relationship. They'll still cause issues for that individual, even if they're not in a relationship together. Okay. In order for them to continue to keep that power going on, and in that control, and then also in order for them to make that person's life, just to be honest with you, a living hell. Okay, so they'll do that as well because they're angry that individual isn't in that relationship with them. So they'll still try to find a way to keep bringing that person back into the relationship, or to keep causing issues for that particular person. Okay, so I kind of gave you like a synopsis of it, and to summarize, I should say, bits and as far as the definition too, I kind of summarize that a little bit different than what you would probably see if you went to look and see what the Department of Justice would say about it. Okay, but I wanted to kind of break it down so that you can understand what I was sharing with you. So now let's talk about what the topic is for today. So I didn't put it into the feed of the video, but I'm going to go back and do that. So the topic for today is, I wanted to talk about in terms of for the holidays, because the holidays are coming up, and that actually can cause stress to happen as well, right? In terms of someone to their lives to be impacted with domestic violence as a result of stress from the holidays, and the bills, and as far as maybe not having enough money to purchase things that they want to cook for the holidays, or maybe purchase things to buy for, exchanging gifts or something like that. Or maybe the person may have gotten laid off from work, or maybe they're, not working at all, or, the responsibility has just been on one person. So the holidays can be enjoyable, but it can also be stressful for individuals. And so that can also create an environment for domestic violence. Okay. So I wanted to just kind of share with you my take on it today. And I've shared this before. So if you watch the video that I've done before, then you're going to hear some of what I'm going to share with you. Okay. So when we talk about in terms of the holidays, we have this coming up, what we have, Halloween is coming up. That's a little bit a different type of a holiday that I'm talking about. I'm talking more about like Thanksgiving that's coming up. We have, Christmas is coming up. We have Kwanzaa that's coming up, and any other holidays that I didn't mention that are coming up as well, that may be celebrated in a different culture. Okay. So basically what I want to share with you is there's a way that you can observe your loved one. So if you had the thought that maybe that person could be experiencing domestic violence, or maybe you were wondering, is this person controlling? Maybe he or she seems like that, or something just didn't fit right, or it doesn't seem right within that relationship, and you just kind of have your antennas up, right? And you kind of like, what's going on in that relationship? Okay. So I want to just kind of share with you some signs that you can look for during the holidays, and that will kind of help you to understand if this person is in a domestic violence relationship or not. Okay. So if you've had any kind of suspicions, hopefully, I don't want to say hopefully, but you may get some confirmation today, and then again, you may not. Okay. So I want to hope that you don't get confirmation today in regards to what I'm going to share with you. But if you do, at least this way you know what you would need to do in order to help your loved one, okay? You can share this information with them. You can share the video with them. You can, send it to them. You can copy and paste the link and share it in a text message, or just on your page, or however you choose to do that. But there's a way that you can share it, okay? So that way that'll help them to understand what they're actually experiencing. So now, when we talk about the holidays, okay, so one thing I'm going to say that you'll probably notice is with the holidays coming up, maybe that particular person, that he or she, the mate, may not even show up. The loved one will come to the event that you're having. And I know that we're in a pandemic right now. So some of what I'm going to share with you may be a little bit different because of the pandemic, but this is something that you can still keep in mind when we talk about the holidays and what to look for, okay, as far as the signs. So I still wanted to share this video, even though we're in the pandemic and we're probably not going to spend too much time with family. Maybe some families will and some won't, but at least this way you have an ideal, okay? So later on down the line, you can think about it and say, wow, Jackie said this on her video, that these are some things that I can look for. So one of the things I'm going to say is maybe that mate just may not even show up. He or she just may not even show. And then your loved one will say, oh, they'll give an excuse as to why maybe they had to work, or, maybe they'll give you some other kind of excuse as to why that person didn't show up. Okay. Now, also, it could be that the loved one may not even show up. Okay. So neither one of them will show. And then you're wondering, well, why didn't so-and-so come to the event? Because, they said that they were going to come, and then last minute they changed their mind. So they may give you some excuse, and you're looking like, that doesn't sound right. Or maybe I'm not feeling good, or, maybe the mate isn't feeling good, or something like that. They may say, just in order to keep from showing up for that particular event. Now, I'm going to explain to you why, okay? So one of the reasons why they probably wouldn't want to show up is either they may have had an argument, okay, may have had a huge disagreement, and they're at odds with each other. It could be that maybe that person has been physically abusive to that individual, and they don't want you to see any scars, so they're not going to show up for that event. It could be that, along with that argument that they got into, maybe that person the mate may have told them, well, your family doesn't really like me, so I don't want to go around your family. And that would put your loved one in a tough situation because they want to be there for you all because you're family, but then they also have an obligation as far as in that relationship, right? And in order to keep the relationship going, in order to keep any further physical abuse or any other form of abuse happening to them, impacting their life, they would just go ahead and not show up, okay, in order to keep down any other disagreements or anything that can happen that could explode into an abusive situation, okay? So those would be some reasons why they just wouldn't show up. Now, if you all haven't had any issues and you're wondering, well, hey, everything was going good, and then they just all of a sudden decided not to show, then that could be the reasons that I mentioned to you before, okay? So just something to kind of think about. Now, if you guys are maybe not on good terms, then that would be a reason why they wouldn't show. It's like, well, I don't want to go because I know they don't really care for so-and-so, so I'm not even going to show up, okay? So just kind of give you some ideas as to why they may not show up. Now, once they get there, you may notice that there's a lack of communication between the two of them. You may finally see each person, maybe the abuser, giving like a look to your loved one. And at that point, your loved one's going to react a different way and may seem a little nervous, may seem a little jumpy, may seem tense or, stressed out because the look that this person has given them. Okay. And it could be maybe just a basic conversation that you're having, and maybe you may have shared too much, or he or she may think you're sharing too much. And the look that they would give that loved one would be like, and then that loved one would be like, okay, now I know we're going to have to argue when we get back, or maybe he may be physical with me once we get back home, or she may be physical with me, right? So you want to look out for the different looks that that person would give to the other one. How, like I said, the body language, is it stressed? Does it seem tense? Is it, do that person seem different when they're around this mate, around the family? Do they seem a little bit different? Do they seem a little off? Do they seem maybe a little bit more stressed, on edge when this person is here? Not easy at all, maybe unease, okay, while they're around this person. Does the kids respond this way? How are the children responding? Do they get along with this person? Is that mate interacting with the children, or is he or she just sitting over on the side and not interacting with anybody? Are they disconnected from the family while they're there? Okay, so those are some things to think about too. Are they maybe interacting with the family, but then, like I said, give that look to that loved one, like, wait till we get home, or something like that, or don't say that, keep your mouth shut or something. So it's a certain look that they'll give, real, like an evil look, a look of contempt, that they'll give that individual, a look like, you better keep your mouth shut, or something like that. So just kind of look out for the way that they're communicating with each other, the body language that's there, the eye contact, the communication or lack thereof of communication. And just kind of watch and see, is that mate always under that person, around that person, or are they allowing the person to go and, is your loved one mingling around with the family, or are they just sticking with this particular person? Okay, so that's something to kind of think about too, as to why is so-and-so always over here and not communicating with the rest of the family. So just something to kind of think about, okay? Maybe this person may have told them, well, your family don't like me, so, I don't want to go. So then your loved one is trying to stay around this person to make that person feel comfortable, okay, and to keep down as much of the strife as possible that could possibly happen later on down the line once they get back to the house. So with all of what I've shared with you, those are some of the big tips that I want you to really look out in terms of the body language, okay? That really, really is important. And then also is the mate not communicating with other people. Like I said before, it's isolation. So if you notice that your loved one's mate is staying away from everybody, that could be a sign that they don't want to be there. Maybe they could be having a bad day or something, or maybe they just don't like the family, so it's just something to kind of think about in terms of when you see these types of behaviors, okay? And I would say if you see these types of behaviors, I wouldn't probably say anything right at that time. When your loved one is there, I probably would wait until another day and give that person a call and say, hey, can we meet out for coffee? Can we meet for, to go and have lunch or something like that? And if they're able to, and then talk to your loved one and ask about what you saw, just be completely honest with them and, say, hey, this is what I saw going on. Is everything okay? How's things going in your relationship? I'm not trying to be nosy, but hey, I really love you. And, I've been seeing some things. I've kind of looked some things up online, or maybe I watched the video and these were some of the signs that I was told to look for and I saw these things. Just be honest with your loved one and just really ask, hey, is there anything that I can do to help you? If they have children, would you like for me to maybe keep your children and give you a break, give you time to go do something for yourself, or give you and your mate time to go out for dinner or something like that in order to try to help. So, I would just try to be that support for your loved one. And in order for you to do that, you have to build up that relationship. You have to build up that the response from your loved one that you care about them, that you're concerned, that you're not doing this to be nosy or to point fingers or to judge this person, that you really truly love this person and you really just want to get some information from them, okay? Just not some information, but you really want to know how things are going and be that support for them. If you see that it's stressed out, if you see that things just don't feel right, and you just want to be that support. So that's the way that I would convey your concern to them, is that you're very concerned about what's going on. You just want to be, that support person for it. You want to be a part of their group of a support system, okay, for them. And so that can really loosen up that conversation. That can make that person feel a lot better with talking to you. Because of that, it would make them feel a little bit more comfortable. So that's how I would approach that situation, okay? And so with that being said, I have shared so much information with you all today of what signs to look for. So what I would suggest is that you go through and watch this video again. I would also suggest that you jot down resources that I put into the feed of the video, because it's a lot of great resources that can help you out as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to direct message me. You can also email me. I believe I put my email into the feed of the video as well, so you can reach me that way. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, okay? And with that being said, you guys have a great rest of your night. I just wanted to jump on today and share that valuable information. And with that being said, have a great night, and I'll see you all on the next video. Until then, bye-bye.